Now we got a Canadian show called The Border that glamorizes drug enforcement people. Yeah, it's just a witch hunt. It's Nazism all over again, really. I mean, certain people in the government have decided to ride the American population on this drug enforcement thing, which makes them zero money. If there's a real human demand for drugs, why not meet that demand and get some revenue off of it? Instead, they use their yellow journalism and whatnot to portray drug users and smugglers as the worst thing that can happen to the human population, the world in general, is drugs. And you know what the worst thing that can happen to the human population is? Somebody fear-mongering to the point where they get a huge taxpayer budget to persecute a certain slice of society that happens to use drugs. Which of some, I mean, a lot of them are just soft drugs that have been used since the dawn of humanity, but all of a sudden, through the media and cultivation, they decided that, oh, we're going to single out these certain people in society and label them as the problem and drum up a bunch of taxpayer support that isn't a value-added industry. Look at these people. Look at their facilities. Look at their gear. Look at their salaries and budget. And they get their place on television too. They get their big television soapbox to continue the madness. There's no counter to any of it. They've embargoed a certain industry of trade and commerce, labeled it as bad, and then went to war on it. Just no different than witch hunters. Witch hunters. And I have to live in this world. You know what? I'm not too big into drugs and stuff like that, but I'd hate to see a bunch of money. I mean, they could be making money off of it. Instead, they're turning into a cost, not only a monetary aspect, but also in like peace of mind. All this fear being spread around, and they're the only remedy for it. Oh, could they be running a game? I bet if you checked up on these drug enforcement people, they're probably ensuring that they get plenty of work to do. Making prisons an industry. Corrections is an industry in this country. Yeah, wonderful. So, yeah, this is the world I live in. You know what would be better? Let's take the Dutch way of doing this. They make money off their drug industry, and it's dwindling. Because really, once you take the taboo and all the big money away from it, you know who likes drug prohibition more than anybody? The gangsters do. Because then they can be outside the law. That's wonderful. You know, anybody who has any good sense would understand this, but they don't, because their brains are cultivated by television and the media. By this show called The Border that I happen to be. It's the only television channel I get. My little tiny TV. All these guys are such heroes. They're dinking around most of the time. Generating this useless banner for their script, and behind these big computers and all the budget in the world, nice big huge window glass facilities on the hilltop, all costing the taxpayer money and just adding to the problem. Wow! What a world we live in. This is AugustusLarch. Thank you for watching YouTube.